Hi everyone, and welcome to another edition of City Spotlight. I'm your host, Pablo Pereira. Today we're coming to you from the Tri-Valley Roller Hockey League rink here at De Anza Park. This league's been around for about 15 years and continues to grow in popularity. Well, for this edition of City Spotlight, we're going to focus on one very special coach who not only teaches the skills needed to play this game, but some very important lessons in life as well. Ned, this is a fairly successful program and continues to grow. Talk to me a little bit about this particular facility.
We're a recreational league, and the thing about that is that everybody plays, and we have something for everybody. We have a Learn to Skate program that's absolutely free, so we'll teach anybody to skate for free. Then we have what we call a Roller Rookie program, so we'll teach you how to play roller rookies. And then we have 3 youth divisions, a 9 and under, 12 and under, to 17 and under division, and a full complement of adult programs from beginner, intermediate, advanced, and expert.
Whitney McCleery, the coach here at Tri-Valley Roller Hockey at De Anza Park in Calabasas, is a woman. Not that that makes any difference, and we thank you for joining us today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Now, I understand, though, that you are the only female coach out here.
I am right currently. There have been female coaches in the past, but currently I'm the only female coach.
Whitney, 3 years ago, didn't know anything about hockey. She started playing, then she started coaching. Both her kids play. She is our most popular coach. As a matter of fact, every year when we fill out registration forms, half of the division request to have Whitney McCleery as their coach.
And how did you get into this whole thing?
I've always been a hockey fan, or at least since the mid-'80s when Gretzky came to LA and I started, skating. But I was coaching AYSO soccer, but I was being a hockey fan. I took my kids to they were little. Rory, my oldest, was about 5. My youngest was about 2.5. And we went to the LA Convention Center for the All-Star game. And Rory it was the whole convention center filled with all kinds of hockey paraphernalia and things. And in there they had ice rinks and roller rinks. And the ice rink the line was way too long to get on that. So we went to the roller rink. They suited him up. He went on the rink. He wouldn't come off. So he stood I kept saying, "Get that kid off." And he came over and said, "Mom, I'm not coming off until you promise to buy me hockey skates tomorrow." So we went the next day to Discount Hockey, which is Rick Collins' store, and he said, "There's a league in Calabasas." Suddenly we were here.
When she first started, I can tell you, having a woman coach, I thought, well, reservations about that, especially in the division she's coaching with the older kids, basically high school kids.
What were the reservations?
Just that, I wasn't sure if she really knew the game. She's just a very, very beginner player at the time. And you know what? She's the very first woman coach I've ever had.
This sport is a particularly male-dominated sport, is it not?
Yes, it definitely is, although more girls are starting to enter the sport.
Right now I'm putting together a women's tournament, and it's really exciting because we had such a big response of people who've never played before that wanted to play in the tournament. So I realized that I think women are like me walking into that first draft going, I don't know if is this a world that's okay for me to be in? And I'm here saying, yeah, come on.
She's inspired many of the moms out here on a Saturday, talking them into coming out and giving it a try. And, with that alone, she's probably brought in, 10 to 15 women in the league. And she's currently organizing an all-girls tournament that we're going to have coming up.
You're one of the few girls in the league. How is that for you?
Well, it's intimidating against the other boys, because some of them are like 13 and really tall and aggressive. So it makes me learn to work harder at it.
From a young girl's standpoint and self-esteem and issues like that, there's differences between boys and girls. I'm sure you've discovered that coaching out here.
Yeah, definitely.
And so how do you think you help young girls more?
Well, I have coached girls, and what happens is I make sure that they feel like they're a part of the team too, that there's not a separation, that they're as valued, and I work on helping them feel confident in their skills.
Your style is definitely different than the men's style. Describe that.
Well, it's a team sport, and I think of it as, it's like a chain, and you're only as strong as your weakest link. So the idea that instead of just playing your top players all the time and working with them is to bring, everybody along and make the entire team strong.
Coaches will say, okay, go out there, play your best. Whitney really inspires the players to play their best.
My biggest concentrations that I work on is making sure that everybody feels like a team. So I work at having kind of outside activities. Like right now we have a Stanley Cup hockey pool. We put together a team CD. We do little extras that just have the kids have their personalities come out, because when you're on the rink, you're more likely to pass and play with somebody that you know and understand than if it's just some guy that once a week shows up.
She takes a lot of the players' input. If they see something out on the rink, they'll say, okay, tell me about it. What do you see? What do you think we should do better?
The one thing I think we really got to concentrate on this goalie, and it's tough because it's a fast pace out of the one person, go in front of the net.
She does everything. She's the team mom. She's the head coach. Where most of the guys, men, want to come out here and they just want to coach. So they'll assign someone, mostly a woman, to be their team parent, team mom, and do all those little things. Where Whitney kind of does it all. So yeah, in that respect, she's kind of a one-girl show, and she loves that.
She really inspires the kids to do a good job, but she also listens to them, takes their input, and always keeps a very positive attitude.
I heard you mix it up with the guys pretty well when you're out here. Is that true?
I think once you get confident enough to know what you can do, then the great thing is you're fully padded. I mean, you're like got pads everywhere.
Right,
so
right.
when that gives you the luxury of, going a little bit faster, maybe going a little bit harder, and if they, they kind of push into you.
But the key word maybe
back.
you just mentioned was confidence.
Yes.
And in young people, boys and girls, confidence is so important, not just only in sports, but just transitioning into their life.
It's true. For my children, and part of the reason that I was so just such a fan of this league is that I could see in my kids it gave them confidence. It didn't have anything to do with their school or any performance there. It gave them a self-esteem that was something unique that they had completely on their own. They had a great game, and I think that's what outside sports can do, and that's part of my philosophy of making sure everybody feels really good about themselves and that they enjoy it. Winning isn't just having the scoreboard, to show that you won. It's enjoying it.
As a role model for your daughter, then I would assume you think Whitney is a good role model for young girls.
Absolutely. When she's playing herself, she plays on 3 different divisions and 3 different leagues. Whitney does, and when you watch her play out there, she gives it her all. She gives 100%. It doesn't matter if the guy's 6 feet tall and 300 pounds, she'll just still go for the puck. So she's pretty brave, and it teaches the girls to be brave too and not be afraid to get out there and do it.
Everyone has strengths, and it's kind of a life philosophy of play to your strengths. So if you're a woman, you may have a different strength than a man, so your strength may not be that you're bigger than the other guys, but you may be faster, able to do something that's whatever your strength is, use that. And that gives the girls confidence that they don't feel like they're different from the guys.
What's the difference between a female coach and a male coach, or is there a difference?
Definitely a difference. Lila's coach right now, his name is Dan. He's wonderful. He communicates differently. He looks at the game differently. He holds his practices differently. Whitney really does create a team, a family. Everybody cares about each other out there, and a lot of the kids really, and parents really, want Whitney to be their kids' coach.
She focuses a lot on the positive and how we can do better and how we can play better.
You know what? She's the very first woman coach I've ever had. But I'll tell you what, it took one season and I want her to coach forever. She's fantastic, very organized. She did a lot of special things for the kids and for the league. She's by far our most popular coach.
You get things from different people. It's like going through school. Some teachers will be tough on you and teach you, one thing. Another teacher will build you up in a different way. So there's benefits on both sides. I don't think that you have to do a militaristic style and I know everything and,
You're saying that's more a man's way.
I think traditionally that would be a man's way in those, sort of, movie archetype, coach that's, going to...
But you're not coddling these kids.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
No. You got to make them work. But it's also acknowledging what they know, acknowledging what they are able to do, and acknowledging just that their play and that their growth each game. It doesn't matter what the score was. If that kid that day learned and made a great play and developed as a player, that's going to carry over. If they worked as a team, that's going to carry over into their life, and that's going to help them in a job where they have to work as a team.
And certainly that can be achieved by just a good coach, regardless of whether they're man or woman. But here's the bottom line. When you talk to the parents and you talk to the league here, more and more parents, and you're still somewhat of a rookie in this because you've been doing it for a couple of years,
right.
I hear more and more parents are requesting you to coach their kids. That must make you feel pretty good.
It does make me feel good. And again, that's like my confidence builder of because I'll, am I doing the right thing? Not being the militaristic, get out there and work harder. Is this philosophy of being a little more sort of nurturing and smart about that, talking about strategies rather than just making them skate ladders. Is that an alternative that works? Then that's a saying that a vote of confidence for that style.
So how do you think she was received when she started coaching, and what's the perception of her now as a coach?
I think at first some of the kids might have said, why do we have a female coach? But I think getting to know Whitney and knowing her style, they've responded really well and really look forward to having Whitney as a coach.
When you see a coach like Whitney, you see another woman, coaching out here, does that inspire you at all?
It inspires me how she can coach 15-year-old boys and 15 of them.
She's a great coach. She really encourages a positive atmosphere for the team.
She really creates balance. It's not only about winning, it's about being a good team and a good sport and being kind to one another, as well as playing hard and getting your hardest and making the shot and being there when you need to be there.
She's a very inspirational coach.
So what sparked your interest in becoming a coach?
Well, I was coaching Malibu AYSO, which was great. And soccer, and they have great training and, really have a philosophy about, making it a safe place for the kids and everybody plays. And that really inspired me, being a young mother, or having young kids at that time inspired me really to think about what that means for a kid going into a sport and trying that out. So when I started watching him here and my love of hockey, I just thought at one point I should just try it out. I was very nervous. I was very nervous the first time walking into the draft. I literally was shaking. I mean, now I laugh about it, but at that point I thought they're gonna find some reason why,
a girl can't coach.
Why? Yeah, why? How? What's your qualifications?
So the intimidation factor was not only being first time, but you were the only woman in the room at this draft with a bunch of big guys.
Big guys who, right? I was sure played, AAA hockey in Minnesota all growing up. But as it turns out, everybody was wonderful and friendly, and I think in a way. Being a woman, having a different philosophy, not only can I help my own team, but just presenting different ideas or how to do things, influences the whole league.
So Lila, you're 9 years old and you're playing roller hockey, right?
Yes. Yeah.
What do you like about this?
Well, what I like is when I was little, I always liked to skate, and my brother started to play hockey, so I decided I would try to play hockey. And when I play hockey, I like the pressure of, you know, trying to score and keeping it away from the net because I play defense. And also I like the acceleration when I skate.
Part of what I do to prepare for my draft is that I try and figure out what jersey colors we're gonna have. I draw little jersey templates and then bring crayons. So I brought them for everybody. And in this draft, I came in and I put down the blank templates and the crayons, and suddenly all the guys are coloring. No, I want that color, I want that color. So we were all having a great time, you know, designing jerseys.
Which is really probably a distraction to get their mind off the better
off
players.
the job. Then I got the, yeah, then I, no, actually. But it was a fun thing because instead of sitting there with our lists and, you know, like, you know, looking at each other, who's going to get who, we were suddenly making jokes and, you know, and coloring and kind of, you know, bringing it back to a
But I'll
very
bet you
fun
got
level.
the players you wanted, didn't you?
I got some players. There were a few that I didn't get, but yeah, I got some of the players.
Last draft, she brought out designs of uniforms, had them all drawing on crayons. Do you think that that was a strategical move to distract the guys so she could get better players or not? Or do you think she really had any concern at all about the color and design of uniforms?
You know what? She just brings that to the league. That's Whitney. And you should have seen these guys. She actually brought out a picture or a blank of a jersey, and you get to design your own. And you should have seen these guys drawing their pictures. I mean, their tongues were sticking out. They were all into drawing it. But as far as to answer your question, not really, because the way we do the draft, we try to make even teams. That's our goal of the league, because if we have that, then we have good games all the time. But yeah, she definitely feels a lot more comfortable now.
There's somewhat of a personal nature to this story that's already been, you know, written about and things like that. You lost your job a few years ago.
Actually, last year.
Last year.
Yeah.
And how did continuing this help you deal with that?
Well, it was a rough year. My husband is a cinematographer, and he, because there's less and less work in Los Angeles, he was in Louisiana working on Battle LA, and then in London doing John Carter of Mars. So he was gone for 13 months in a row. In the meantime, our private school that I worked at and my kids went to was having financial trouble, and it was a really tough year as we watched the school crumble, you know, everything disintegrate, and then losing my job. And, you know, in those situations, you need something that's the, you know, what's the little, at least I scored a slap shot, you know, like I stopped that guy, you know, I blocked that shot, and, you know, that was really cool, that was fun. Or I watched that kid, you know, make a play that just, you know, he got it, he got that drill that we did, and he understood it. So those little things that just keep you going, make you feel good about, you know, life when everything else is falling, you know, falling apart, or you don't feel confident in just being able to come out here and let it go. And I think that's part of the, you know, lifelong athletes that I want these kids to have that same feeling. Like, even if you're, you know, you have a bad day, you can come out here and have fun and, you know, save the day.
Well, that's going to do it for this edition of City Spotlight. We hope you've enjoyed the program. More importantly, if you have young kids, boys or girls, why not give this league a try? It's not only a lot of fun, but gets you outdoors in this beautiful park, too. For more information on this program, or if you have a story idea, you can always contact us at cityofcalabasas.com. I'm Pablo Pereira. Thanks for joining us.